to put someone's best interest over your own. And when you're a broker, what does the word broker mean?
You're selling something?
Exactly, right? You're selling something. When you're selling something and there's an incentive for you to sell product A versus product B because product A pays you a higher commission, even though maybe product B would benefit the client more, make them more money, a broker dealer is not required to make that recommendation. They can actually sell you the product that they want because they are brokers. Okay?
Right. Yes, I understand what you're saying. You're saying if my client is sitting with a broker dealer having to choose an investment that the broker dealer is recommending, the broker dealer may have several options, and if he has a vacation that's more important to him, he might steer you towards the investment that's going to bring a larger commission potentially. That doesn't mean it always happens, but potentially he has that temptation.
Temptation, that's the word, temptation.
To not act in the best interest potentially of the client.
Temptation is a really big factor in this business, and it's really sad because even though we call ourselves advisors, there's so much temptation on the table in most firms that the financial advisor doesn't always give you the best advice. And that's one of the things that was so important to me when I stepped out on my own and built this firm and built this practice, is that I don't want the temptation on the table. I don't want it to be a part of our business model. So when I found out about the fiduciary model, about having a Series 65, about being a true investment advisor and giving advice, I said, okay, this is a career that I certainly can love and flourish in. And prior, going back to where you said where I came from. So in college, I don't know if you knew this about me, but I was a car salesman. Yeah.
Like, the broker dealer.
Right.
The middleman.
I was a car salesman, and I was actually very, very good at it.
Were you honest?
And, well, yes, that was the problem. Okay, so for those of you who are just joining us, you're listening to the Mindie Molina Show, and I have today with me Frank Borelli, who's...
Temptation wasn't on the table, and I just wanted to say again that temptation you're referring to is maybe selling or
we'll get Frank on here.
Churning the mutual funds within a family of funds to create commissions are the types of temptations that may be experienced in some houses or other places where financial advice and financial investments are being made, where the financial advisor may be under some pressure to meet some
yeah, so let's talk about that
limits.
Pressure, because you're exactly right.
So those are the temptations you're talking about.
So I have a lot of friends in this industry. I mean, I've been in the financial space since I got out of college in 2002. Is that right? Does that sound right?
I wasn't there.
It was a long time. And but I've made a lot of friends, and they all don't have the same career path as me. But
that's 20 years ago.
It was so it's talking to my friends. I'm very inquisitive. I like to be in the know, and I ask a lot of questions. And I've always, I guess in my mind thought, well, I need to be working for some big institution, and that's how you build a career. I'm from Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky.
But it was a financial degree that you were talking to your friends about how their experiences in the field. This is what you're explaining. You wanted to know about the industry you were getting
I'm talking
into.
about my jobs.
Yeah, jobs. Okay.
But just in my career, as I have gone along, the friends that I've made, and a lot of them work for large institutions. So I have a lot of background knowledge on how their structure works, simply because of my friends. Okay, so when you work for a company, you have sales goals, okay? So for me, I work for my clients. My clients don't call and say, Mindie, if you don't get 3 more clients next month, we're gonna fire you. That's not how it works. But when you work for an institution, you do have goals. You do have expectation. You do have an obligation to the company to develop. I'm sorry, what?
So we don't need any more clients then.
Oh,
Right, boss?
no.
That's no, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to.
So, what
We
was I
also-
saying? You threw me
No,
off.
you're just not under the pressure.
A key distinction in terms of loyalty is also important. A broker's primary duty is to their employer, the broker-dealer, for whom they work, not to their clients. Instead of having to place their interest below that of the client, which I am by law obligated to do as a fiduciary, okay? They are not required to place their best interest below yours. So think of what that means. If you have, if something is going to benefit Frank more than it's going to benefit me, but I'm trusting him to guide me, and he leads me down the wrong path, it is what it is. There's no he's not legally obligated to that because of the suitability standard. So they get away with it by saying, so this is the suitability standard only details that the broker-dealer has to reasonably believe. Reasonably believe. So let's take the words reasonably believe and compare them to in your best interest. So if I give you money and you're going to invest it, and as long as you reasonably believe this suits you, this will be fine because it's reasonably we believe that this is going to benefit you, versus I am legally obligated to do what is in your best interest. How do you feel about the word best, Frank, versus reasonable?
I prefer best.
Right?
Best.
Best.
Yeah. And
Best interest.
to further, I think you're talking about suitability and with clients' money specifically.
Well, I'm talking about the suitability rule and how that applies to broker-dealers. See, the suitability rule is the same. It's kind of like apples and oranges, or the salt and pepper. What do you like better, Coke or Pepsi? You have the fiduciary standard or you have the suitability standard. And you need to know what these two things are, because this is how you decide who is going to be the right financial advisor for you. And if they're falling under the suitability standard, well, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but there is there's a less legal obligation on their part to disclose conflicts of interest for you. So there's just less obligation because they are licensed to sell securities, where an investment advisor, a registered investment advisory, and everybody that falls under that realm, including the custodian who actually does place the trades, okay? They all fall under the same standard, and they all fall under the same legal obligation. And you have to choose, am I going to choose the suitability standard, or I'm going to choose the fiduciary standard? And what most people believe is that everybody's in the fiduciary standard, but that's not true. So let's talk about fiduciaries and what that is. This is from Forbes, okay? Fiduciary financial advisors commonly work for RIAs. Who's our registered investment advisory firm?
Aegis Wealth.
Aegis Wealth Management.